On February 24, 2022, an invasion of Ukraine by Russia begins. It is ordered by Russian President Vladimir Putin. In the words of President Putin, this action is a special military operation. This episode aims to shed light on the videos made available by the website of the Russian Ministry of Defense. The main theme of this episode is the use of cruise missiles by the Russian army during the first weeks of the conflict. Cruise missiles are classified in different categories according to whether they are fired from the air, the surface of the sea, under the surface of the sea, and finally from the ground. In this episode, all these categories will be discussed, so we will review the Kinzhal, the Kh-101, the Kalibr, the Iskander, and finally the Onyx. The conflict is still ongoing at the time of this episode. The step back and the level of knowledge are necessarily limited. This episode will therefore obviously be very incomplete. It will be impartial as much as possible. The treatment of the subject is carried out with as much vigilance as possible in order not to offend anyone and not to take sides with anyone. The briefings of the Russian Ministry of Defense indicating the use of high-precision missiles are very numerous. This episode will take only a few examples that best illustrate their use in combat. The Kinzhal is an air-launched ballistic missile with dual capability, meaning it can be equipped with a nuclear warhead. The missile flies at hypersonic speed. It can maneuver during all phases of flight. It would have a range of more than 2,000 kilometers. Experts believe that the missile is primarily intended to combat warships. As of February 2019, the Russian Ministry of Defense says that MiG-31s, equipped with Kinzhal, are conducting air patrols over the Black and Caspian Seas. Several videos from the Russian Ministry of Defense illustrate the MiG-31K/Kinzhal pair. It can be recalled that on June 25, 2021, two MiG-31Ks take off from Russia to Syria, and more precisely to the Russian airbase of Maymim. They are to join a joint exercise conducted in the eastern Mediterranean by the Russian Navy and Aerospace Forces. On February 8, 2022, a video showing the arrival of a MiG-31K fighter carrying the hypersonic Kinzhal missile in Kaliningrad was posted on social networks. On February 19, 2022, under the leadership of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, an exercise of strategic deterrence forces was launched. Reports indicate that MiG-31s fired Kinzhal missiles. The Tu-23 and Su-57 could also deploy this munition in the future. As for the Su-57, efforts to miniaturize the missile will have to be made to make this duo possible. On March 18, 2022, the Ministry of Defense spokesman indicated the use of the Kinzhal missile against a static target. An important underground warehouse of missiles and ammunition of the Ukrainian Air Force would have been hit in the locality of Delyatyn, in the west of Ukraine. The Russian authorities indicate that such infrastructures are difficult to destroy with conventional missiles. The hypersonic missile was used because it has a greater penetration capacity and destructive power due to its very high speed. On May 10, 2022, the Pentagon estimated that between 10 and 12 hypersonic missiles had been fired at Ukraine since the beginning of the conflict. If you want to know more about the MiG-31, you can watch the episode the channel dedicated to this topic. In the late 1980s, work began on the development of a new cruise missile. This work led to the design of two missiles, the Kh-101 with a conventional warhead and the Kh-102 with a nuclear warhead. The Kh-101 entered service in 2012. An effort is made to improve the stealth of the missile. The missile is 7.45 meters long. It weighs between 2,300 and 2,400 kilograms. It uses a turbojet engine which gives it a cruising speed of Mach 0.58 and a maximum speed of Mach 0.78. The range of the KH-101/-102 is between 2,500 kilometers and 2,800 kilometers. The missile can be carried by the Tu-160, the Tu-95, the Tu-22 and the Su-34. Russian Defense Ministry briefing on February 26, 2022, indicates that the armed forces of the Russian Federation conducted another long-range precision-guided strike using air and sea-launched cruise missiles against Ukrainian military infrastructure. A briefing on March 1, 2022, states that the same type of strike hit 2 airfields and 3 air defense radar stations. The Russian Defense Ministry's briefing of May 3, 2022, indicates that high-precision missiles launched from the air during a night operation struck 6 military facilities in Ukraine. The strikes targeted a protected checkpoint, an ammunition depot, as well as areas where manpower and military equipment were concentrated. It appears that the cruise missiles fired from the air were fired from bombers flying over Russian soil. Your humble servant cannot find any videos illustrating the firing of cruise missiles from bombers over Ukraine. Similarly, it is difficult to find literature explaining to what extent cruise missile strikes launched from the sea, air, and/or land are coordinated with each other and/or with other types of strikes. The Kalibr is a Russian cruise missile that exists in several versions, launched either from the ground, the surface of the sea, or under the surface of the sea. The Kalibr has a range of up to 2,500 kilometers. It has become a mainstay of the Russian Navy's ground strike capabilities. The Russian Navy has a wide choice of platforms for firing cruise missiles at Ukraine from the Black Sea. The videos, made available by the Russian Ministry of Defense, show shots from frigates, corvettes, and from a submarine. The Admiral Grigorovich-class ships are Russian multipurpose frigates. The class head was commissioned on March 11, 2016. 6 frigates are initially planned. 3 are in service in 2022. This class is developed to meet an urgent need of the Black Sea Fleet. The concept is based on the Russian frigates for the Indian market, the Talwar frigates. The ship displaces 3,830 tons. It is designed to conduct combat operations against surface ships, submarines, and must be able to repel air attacks. Its main armament takes place in 8 vertical launch cells capable of holding Kalibr missiles. It is equipped with a 100 mm automatic gun. Air defense is provided by 2 vertical launchers with a total of 24 9M317M missiles. 2 30 mm rotary cannons are also present. Finally, 2 533 mm twin-tube torpedo launchers and 1 RBU 6000 rocket launcher complete the anti-submarine capabilities. The ships resulting from the 20380 project and its variants are Russian multipurpose corvettes. The class head was commissioned on February 28, 2008. By the end of 2020, a total of 29 units are built or on order. The ship displaces 1,800 tons. It is to conduct combat operations against surface ships and submarines. It must be able to support amphibious assault operations and ensure control during blockades. Its main armament initially consists of a run anti-ship system equipped with 8 Kh-35U missiles. Then, 8 vertical launch cells capable of holding Kalibr missiles were installed. The corvette is equipped with a 100 mm gun. Air defense is provided by the Redoubt system with 12 cells capable of carrying 9 M100 missiles. Two AK-630 MS with 630 mm rotary cannons complete the system. The Kilo class is a class of Soviet and later Russian diesel-electric submarines. One of the latest iterations, the B-271 Kalpino, was commissioned on November 24, 2016. The vessel displaces 3,950 tons when diving. It is served by 52 personnel. It operates at a maximum depth of 300 meters and has a range of about 14,000 kilometers. It can patrol for 45 days. The ship is equipped with 6 torpedo tubes of 533 millimeters. It can carry 18 torpedoes or Kalibr missiles, or 24 mines. The Kalibr missiles can be anti-ship missiles and land attack missiles. The ship carries 8 Strela or Igla surface-to-air missiles. On April 29, 2022, the first Kalibr shot against Ukraine from a submarine in the Black Sea was carried out. On May 4, 2022, strikes were carried out by one of the submarines of the Black Sea Fleet. During the launch of the Salvo, 2 Kalibr cruise missiles met the objects of the military infrastructure of Ukraine. On May 4, 2022, the official representative of the Ministry of Defense of Russia said that 6 electrical infrastructure of Ukrainian railroads were destroyed by long-range, high-precision sea and air weapons. The briefing of the Russian Ministry of Defense on May 7, 2022 states that long-range and high-precision air and sea weapons destroyed aeronautical equipment and unmanned aerial vehicles as well as ammunition at military airfields in the Odessa area in particular. Your humble servant has not read any literature describing the use in combat of Onyx missiles against Ukrainian land targets fired from the sea. However, part of this episode is devoted to its use from the ground against land targets. The SS-26 Iskander is a short-range ballistic missile. Using a carrier launcher and support vehicles, the system can also fire the 9M728 and 9M729 cruise missiles. Russia began development of the SS-26 in the late 1980s to replace the OTR-23. In 1998, Russia began tests. They end in 2005. In 2006, the Iskander system entered service in Russia. In 2010, Russia tested a new missile, the 9M723-1, which entered service in 2012. It would have a maximum range of 500 kilometers. The Iskander system is also equipped with the 9M729 missile. This missile appears to be a land-based variant of the Russian Navy's Kalibr. It is about 6 to 8 meters long and 533 centimeters wide. According to the United States, it has a maximum range of 2,500 kilometers. The launcher vehicle, or TEL, is designed to store, transport, prepare and launch 2 missiles. The gross weight is 42 tons. Speed on highways is 70 kilometers per hour and 40 kilometers per hour on dirt roads. The range is 1,000 kilometers. The briefing of the Russian Ministry of Defense on May 7, 2022 indicates that Iskander missiles destroyed, in the Kharkiv region, large concentrations of weapons and military equipment delivered by the United States and Western countries. The new missile, which will become the Onyx, is designed from the outset to be carried by surface ships, submarines, as well as by aircraft and land launchers. The project was approved in March 1982. The test campaign began in April 1985. The tests from a Nanuchka-class ship began in September 1987. Tests from the K-452 submarine began in December 1992. The missile was adopted by the Russian Armed Forces in September 2002. The missile can be fired alone or in a salvo to hit the largest targets. The maximum range is 300 kilometers. The nominal maximum range is provided by a combination of high and low altitude trajectories. The altitude is thus between 14 kilometers and 15 to 10 m on approach to the target. It is possible to use the missile at an altitude of 10 to 15 m along the entire length of the trajectory, but the maximum range is then reduced to 120 kilometers. Under favorable conditions, the missile, which is of the fire and forget type, can detect its target itself. The length of the missile is 8.6 meters for a weight of about 3 tons. The Onyx is equipped with a 200 kilograms warhead. The missile flies at a speed of Mach 2.6. The Bastion is designed to combat all types of surface ships, up to aircraft carriers. Its use is possible in the most hostile environments. The launcher vehicle, or TEL, is designed to store, transport, prepare and launch 2 missiles. The gross weight is 41 tons. The speed on freeways is 70 km per hour and 40 km per hour on dirt roads. The autonomy is 1,000 kilometers. It can cross a river with a ford depth of 1.4 m. The briefing of the Russian Ministry of Defense of May 3, 2022 indicates that Onyx missiles struck a logistics center on a military airfield in the Odessa region. Hangars housing Turkish-made Bayraktar TB2S, as well as ammunition received from the United States and European countries, were destroyed. As a reminder, the Russian nuclear forces consist of long-range strategic systems and medium and short-range systems. Regarding long-range weapon systems, the Russian Federation maintains a triad of nuclear forces composed of intercontinental ballistic missiles, strategic sea-to-surface ballistic missiles and heavy strategic bombers. This structure is a legacy of the Soviet era. Russia also has a wide variety of weapon systems that can deliver nuclear warheads at intermediate and short ranges. These systems are generally referred to as non-strategic nuclear weapons. These weapons can be employed by ships, aircraft, and ground forces. Many of these medium-range missile systems have dual capabilities. They can be equipped with both conventional and nuclear warheads. This is the case, for example, with Kh-32 missiles, Kalibr cruise missiles and Iskander ballistic missiles. This is probably true for the new 9M729 land-based cruise missile.